Wall Street was open for business as usual yesterday, despite it being Indigenous Peoples Day. Stocks kicked off the week in positive territory, despite opening lower because of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Financial analyst Derrick Williams joining us now to talk about the impact the war is having on our stocks. Let's start there, jump right into it. What are they?
Yeah, I think first, condolences and thoughts to everyone over there, because I think automatically go to how does it affect the stock market, and we don't think about, the lives that are lost. So, thoughts over to people who have been affected. I think yesterday you saw people quickly react in the morning of, there could be a full-blown war, and then it kind of went back to, we think it's kind of controlled. But what we did see is energy stocks rising, the oil price rising yesterday as kind of a quick reaction.
When we think about the humanitarian aspects of this that you mentioned, of course, it is just heartbreaking. But when things start setting into us of like, okay, how does this affect my day-to-day and what is this going to do to me long-term? Do you think a lot of people have those knee-jerk reactions? Yeah,
I think people automatically think when there's an attack, it goes to war. So that was the initial reaction you saw yesterday. So kind of how it affects us on a day-to-day is I guess the long story short is, how much do the other countries come into play? Because if, Iran comes into play, then the U.S. could potentially shut off oil. If Saudi Arabia comes into play, then that could affect, some supply chain issues. So right now they think it's contained. So that's going to be the one thing to watch, is how other countries come into play, because then oil is affected, and then that, shoots the price up, as we already saw oil go up in the beginning of the day yesterday and into the end of the day, when Friday closed around $82 a barrel and, got up to like 87 yesterday.
And I was going to ask that, what are some of the simple things that you really need to watch out for and be on the lookout for when it comes to investing in the stock market and this instability happening?
Right now, I think the key is being patient, just because, we saw this, just even back in February of 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine, and there was kind of this uncertainty of what's going to happen. And, the market seemed to bounce back, as time went on. So I think that's the big thing. But, kind of being cognizant of what's going on as we kind of see how this kind of plays out, because, so supply chain could be affected, as well as oil, prices being affected if it does end up going longer, and, other countries are, in the fold as well.
You've touched on oil a few times here. How big of a play is this here?
Oil is huge, just because right now we're in this inflationary, environment of, what is the Fed going to do? And in 3 weeks, there's been conversations that because yields are so high, they could not touch anything. There's been the other side that thinks they could raise it. So there's some uncertainty there, as we thought we had it a little under control and kind of a path going forward. But now this, gas, potentially going higher just kind of adds to the inflationary pressure of, what the government has to do.
And so does the jobs report from September, right? We've added more than we expected?
Yeah, that's a great sign for the economy. So that is one positive that we can take away from the last couple of days. And I think that's kind of getting lost with this news right now is they were expecting about 177,000 jobs added, and there was, 366,000. So, the Fed wants employment to be a certain rate, and that might be one of those things that they have to maybe, cut down, because the market continues to kind of grow in terms of the job market.
So. All right, lots of good advice there. Appreciate your insight as always.